Hi everyone. Palantir reported fiscal year 2022 and fourth quarter results after the markets closed yesterday, and the stock was up nearly 15 to 20% on the news. So I'm going to go through Palantir's earnings results, take a look at the big picture, and highlight what had market participants so excited about Palantir's earnings results. So let's get right into it. The big theme was Palantir is profitable. Finally, after 2 decades in business, Palantir finally earns a profit, and I'm being a bit sarcastic, and you're going to see why. Revenue in the fourth quarter increased by 18% to 509 million. Earnings per share, 1 penny. It's good enough to say, hey, we are profitable. And that's what the company's been doing in every announcement I've seen so far in their earnings report. It's the headline, we are profitable. We are profitable. 1 penny. All right, that's something to brag about. So, still, it's the first time in the company's history they were GAAP net income positive, and that is big news. In the quarter, they closed 261 deals, which was up by 20% from the same quarter in the prior year. That's impressive because enterprises and institutions have been more cautious this year than they were last year in terms of spending on new programs and spending on a new program as expensive as Palantir. Palantir is one of the most expensive data management solutions in the market today. They're one of the best, I agree, but they're also one of the most expensive. And when we're in an environment where businesses are cutting back on costs, that's a real testament to how much Palantir can sell itself, the fact that it was able to increase the amount of deal closings 20% year over year. Customer count increased by 55% overall in 2022 to 367. Again, an impressive figure given that businesses were pulling back spending in 2022 and given how expensive Palantir is. Reaching 367 customers. Now, this is an area of opportunity for Palantir. If they can find a way to deliver their product with as much quality and effectiveness as they are now at lower price points, then they can potentially expand their market opportunity to more businesses that can afford their services, right? Because as of now, you've got to be a really big business to afford Palantir services. If they can maintain quality and offer lower price points, that may be an opportunity to unlock a greater market for Palantir's services. Overall, 225 million of its 509 million in the quarter was from the US government. So very strong customer concentration here, very strong dependence on the US government for its business. Net dollar retention of 115% in 2022. That means that existing customers spent on average 15% more in 2022 than in 2021 with Palantir. I usually see this as really good news when I'm looking at these kinds of software stocks. But because of Palantir's significant customer concentration, I'm decreasing the information provided by this metric here because that could have all came from one or two customers. 224 million in cash flow from operations in 2022 and 2.6 billion of cash as of December 31 with no debt. And the more impressive metric in those last two that I mentioned is the 224 million in cash flow from operations. Palantir has done an excellent job in increasing its cash flow from operations as its revenue has grown, even though profitability was later to come along. This being the first quarter, it earned positive net income. Cash flow from operations had been trending higher. This 2.6 billion of cash on hand, some think of this as, oh, it's really good that the company has 2.6 billion dollars in cash, way more than it needs, because it makes me feel more comfortable investing in Palantir because it has so much cash in the bank. I have a different argument. I have a different opinion, and I feel a different way about this. I feel that this is money that's being wasted. And let me explain what I mean by wasted. Wasted in terms of its use, right? This is money that's just sitting there not being used. And in my opinion, as an investor, that's a waste, right? Because this money could be being used somewhere else. If you're not using it, Palantir, then return it to shareholders and let the shareholders use it by buying other stocks, maybe, right? Don't just let it sit there in your bank account. This is way more money than you need. You're already cash flow positive. Maybe return 500 million or 750 million to shareholders through a buyback. Um, just my opinion. Now, some might say, no, I like that they've got a lot of money and it makes me feel safer. Um, that's not optimal in my opinion. Finally, Palantir is forecasting 2023 revenue of 2.2 billion at the midpoint, and Palantir expects this positive gap profitability to persist for the full year in 2023. So that's really good news. The fact that this 1 penny earnings per share for the fourth quarter wasn't a one-time thing, that they're actually expecting that for the full year in 2023 to be profitable. So that's great news, and that's what I believe had the stock soaring after these earnings were announced. And in my opinion, they were soaring for a justifiable reason. Okay, so that's all I've got for this video. As always, I truly appreciate your viewership, and I really hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.